Hello everyone, and for those who have not yet had a chance to meet, my name is Greg Flauty. I'm a director with CAE SoftSys. And for my many clients and colleagues and peers from over the years, I've definitely come to appreciate it's a very small world and looking forward to the opportunities for us to meet and connect again. I've provided my contact information, and if you find this presentation helpful, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to circle back and ask. Always happy to assist yourself, your teams, either professionally or personally. Please simply consider an open invitation. As for my background, I'm a mechanical engineer by training out of Case Western Reserve University. Yeah, that's right. Go Spartans! And I'm expanding on a over 25-year career that's taken me across roles in engineering, sales, management, across the full product development process, part to part, concept to delivery, back again courtesy of reverse engineering and everything that goes with that. And then also through the full efforts of global collaboration. Any given time, I tend to have about 50 plus client processes in my brain, and that's certainly subject to shift. Back in college, we were conveniently informed that engineers don't like variables. I think many of you might appreciate what I'm referencing there. However, we were then told that the only constant in the world is change, and we better get good at it. And for many of my clients, regardless of their size, small or large, their geos, local, global, this change has typically meant relentless acceleration and then more acceleration, especially nowadays and then some. As for our agenda today, we're going to spend approximately 18 minutes to go over some of the current challenges and opportunities for accelerating the use and benefits of simulation. By no means is this a technical hands-on presentation, as many of you already are experts in that area for sure. Rather, I'm going to share highlights of how we've been able to help our clients advance the use of simulation in their product development processes. And as you can appreciate, this means something different to every client based on what's most important to them in the context of what's going on in their world that day. And regardless of their expert status or their entry-level status, there are common challenges across all of our collective teams, and I'll be sharing those as we progress along. So with that, as I mentioned, I'll be sharing ways to better enable your teams, structure partnerships with extended teams, justify and fund your internal and your new initiatives, and then also a few ways to engage with our team if you feel we may be able to assist. To get us going, here's a few of the actual real-world conversations I've had along the way. For example, said Greg, through physical testing and simulation, we understand what's happening, but we still can't get our arms around just why it's happening. Another client said, we're ready to go with our expansion, but we just can't find the right team lead. Another said, Greg, literally within the next 1 to 3 months, we're going to have to expand our simulations 5-fold. And oh, by the way, we got to turn them around 3 times faster than we ever did before. Beyond that, another client said, following conversation with the CFO, they're willing to fund our initiative, but they got to make sure that we can only do so at the get started level. They couldn't go all the way to advanced, nor should they have on day one. So we needed to work within those constraints. And then I think we can all relate to the young man on the right and whatever 4-year-old words he's using to eloquently express his frustrations, especially when senior analysts leave the company. And there's more. Now the client said, Greg, our best candidate is internal, currently runs our test lab, former electrical engineer. Great candidate, by the way. In addition to that, another client said, we love our simulation results, but the reality is we just can't make timely decisions from the results that we get. Beyond that, client said, I know I can reduce my costs. I got to figure out how to reduce those costs. And when I do, if I can cut them in half, I can justify getting at least 5x additional simulations through. Now the client, very good at what they do as it relates to structures, but they were new to the other areas that they needed to expand into, such as optimization, fatigue, electrical magnetics, fluids, mechatronics, everything that goes with that. And then certainly for many of our clients ongoing internally, How do we leverage our standardized expertise and processes across our full product development team to really embrace that earlier in the cycle? So what are some of the new advancements that are helping us get to where we're trying to go? First and foremost, 3D Experience is truly a transformational, fully integrated design and simulation platform, extremely powerful. In addition, the advancements in on-demand training and virtual mentoring have accelerated results very rapidly. And I've had conversations with clients for at least a decade, long time in regards to their process automation and what's needed to really have the tools and the approach for that to be effective. Beyond that, same conversation for simulation data management. And the 3D Experience platform is certainly making that much more achievable than it has been previously. And I don't know if you participated at this point in regards to the on-demand and cloud high-performance computing, but there are some excellent resources there that are helping clients do things that they simply weren't able to do previously. And we don't advance technology for the sake of technology, but rather to advance the business initiatives. If you can tie your justifications and ROIs to the key business metrics, your chances of funding improve greatly. These are some of the real-world examples throughout my career, client conversations. For example, through the advanced simulation, we've been able to now deliver pre-engineered business development, and it's increased our win rate on those proposals. Another one, we're now actually doing our second, third, fourth, and ongoing iterations rather than just the one that's required. Typical process improvements of 15 to 40% are not uncommon. Those are very achievable. And then in addition to that, some of you might already be there, but virtual test sign-off is becoming very real very fast, and sometimes even very required. And that is definitely reducing the cost of physical testing whenever and wherever possible. There may always be one physical test required in some processes, but in some cases it's 0 or 1 at this point in time. As we focus on the justifications for simulation advancements, I'll recap a bit and add to it. The pre-engineered business proposals is a game changer. Some companies are already there, but many are on the cusp of making it happen, and we can really deliver that with a little bit faster simulation, getting it earlier in the process. It is truly achievable now. In addition to that, the robust and validated designs, that leads to things like warranty reduction cost, better initial product rollouts, less recalls, everything that goes with that. And then the issue of data-driven decisions, especially for R&D. Sometimes there's only so much R&D funding to go around, and you only have so many systems in place. So with the tools that are in place now, really actually making the data reviewable by the entire team, the extended team, the process owners, the stakeholders, is really driving those data-driven decisions. And then I mentioned earlier, being able to truly confirm not only what happened, but why it happened, and then make valid decisions around that. Manufacturing process cost reductions. The more iterations you can get into, sometimes the more you can optimize those manufacturing processes and take steps out. Every step taken out of manufacturing processes be tens or hundreds of thousands or even millions. And then we touched earlier on the reduced physical testing cost. Those are very achievable. It's just a matter of when and where and how, and stacking up the virtual test labs that go with it. And to emphasize the point a little further, if you're not first to market or best to market, well then you're not first and not best to market. If you're the prime contractor, that's great. If you're slated to be the alternate contractor, well that's a whole different discussion. And then if you're a least cost supplier, sometimes that's excellent. If you're backup supplier, well then you're stuck waiting. And emphasis here is that simulation is a transformational technology, and it's advanced far enough along that it can really be a differentiator in some of these critical business efforts for your company and your team. Advancements in simulation methods have definitely accelerated over the last several years as well, and these capabilities are no longer just for the advanced senior analyst. Things such as managing the virtual twins effectively, making data-driven decisions with experience, not just experience-based decisions, and then correlating the physical and the real-world results to the virtual test labs. The process automation and the democratization, really truly bringing that earlier into the process for the junior level analyst or the engineering. And then even in amongst the best teams, the issues of optimization, design of experiments, I think are tremendously underutilized, and they're much stronger and more capable than they have ever been. Many of my clients throughout the years have found a quick recap of the costs associated with simulation to be helpful for their internal justification efforts. And from this, traditionally, computing power has been about 10%, the cost of software maybe about 20%. Obviously, these varies from organization to organization, but they're pretty representative. And then the big impact is the resources and the workforce. So we'll touch on that more significantly, but if you're going to reduce your cost of simulation, you can definitely see that kind of need to definitely impact the resources and the workforce in order to have an impact on those costs. Change isn't always about money, time, return on investment. One of my clients, as he was recently getting promoted to vice president, communicated it's always important to embrace the human side of what we do. And to that end, Dan, just want to take a moment to say thank you. Very much appreciate your compliments and our conversation from about 4 months ago. It'll truly stick with me forever. So to that end, on the screen, these are some of my team members, and I think back about how they were enabled along the way, and what Austin does on a diving board as he's chasing his Olympic Trials dream is nothing short of absolutely ridiculous. It's amazing. And Kayla, I don't know if she'll be donning her elf suit again, but when she's in her classroom and she needs to inspire her little young ones, she might just pull it out. And then as for Dylan, when he was in 7th grade, he was among the 5 smallest people in school, out of a school of about 700. And that young man grew up to be bigger than all of us, and he's on his way to being a triathlete. And the best part of all of that is I think his heart is even bigger than that. So to that end, when we invest in enabling our teams, typically they will strive to go over and beyond for us in return, and that's how we accelerate our processes as well. So to impact the cost of your resources and workforce, sometimes it's best to start with enabling and inspiring our teams. And the good news is that the effectiveness of online training has increased rapidly. So for example, the on-demand training options are much more advanced than they were previously. They're available immediately, and the costs are truly about 1/4 of what traditional classroom training and travel has been. And best of all, they're often approvable within basic management approval levels. And then most effective is combining that with virtual mentoring and on-demand mentoring so that we can add the human element to it, but also the specific processes that are important to your company and your team. So between those two methods, we're truly able to accelerate the training and the deployments and everything that goes with that. And as many of my clients have pointed out over the years, being ready to move forward and being funded to move forward are two very different things. So what do we do to help overcome those obstacles? Some of it is as simple as combining complete solution bundles so that it's not being piecemealed out. The next piece is the ability to leverage financing for software, services, and hardware, and training as well, and spread that out over multiple years at very competitive interest rates and promotional interest rates as well, so that the justification, the ROI, is then also spread out over those multiple years. And then as well, we have the ability to offer deferred payments to, within reason, to help push efforts out to begin in the next budget cycle. So between those things, we're able to help overcome some of the ongoing challenges in regards to releasing the funding for the necessary initiatives. We talked earlier about overcoming the challenge of having the right resources available for your team. To that end, if you have a candidate internal, it is very typical to be 30 to 50% cheaper to hire from within and grow your own analyst. When you do that, typically those resources are experts in your products and your methods. They typically very well understand your testing methods. However, it is critical to make sure that they are capable of understanding and, most important, applying the simulation algorithms and methods. If that piece is missing, you're potentially going to struggle. So to that end, it's always best to make sure they're paired with either internal or external mentors or both. And if you have any candidates that you'd like to discuss, I'll be happy to review some additional thoughts and experiences with you along the way. Just reach out accordingly. And then, of course, You don't always have to have every resource available on staff for every project all the time, and this is where our team excels in many ways. So the ability to use external resources gives you the scalability. Sometimes having the right resource for a third of the time can be cheaper than having a full-time resource on staff. And then also gives you the ability to some of the elite talent, not only locally but also globally at the PhD level, and the ability to accelerate and manage your projects and process different than maybe you have previously. So having access to 24/7 global engineering, follow the sun engineering, adding the second, third shift in true partnership and combination with your team. And then also the redundancy that goes along with the external expertise and developing that up so that you have redundancy in place if there is a resource change within your organization. All of those things are achievable and very important as well. Hopefully several of the items we reviewed can help you advance your process efforts with your team. If you feel our team can assist, please definitely reach out. We talked about the on-demand training, virtual mentoring and skills transfer, solution evaluations and deployments, getting started with bundles, advanced with bundles, the right resource at the right time in regards to bandwidth requirements, help desk project assist at the senior analyst at the expertise at the PhD level, and then we also deploy a transformational technology process for helping companies overcome their legacy efforts and then really adopt the new processes moving forward. And if you're not already familiar with CAE Softsys, we are a complete partner and solution provider and a proud partner of Dassault Systems. We have over 35 certifications spread across 3D Experience, Simulia, CATIA, spread across 6 industries, and we are a global provider of resources, processes, technology solutions with an emphasis on helping companies accelerate their product development processes and achieve the key business initiative results that they're striving for. So we do have strategic capabilities and partnerships in the areas of 3D Experience deployments, R&D as a service. Talk more about that for sure when we connect, and then multiple bench of PhDs on demand, and true access to 24/7 global engineering teams at global engineering rates as well. I've come to appreciate over my career that the things that are most important to my clients are usually the things that they care about. So we place a lot of emphasis on being able to align with our clients at whatever level they're at, whether it's getting started, ready to grow with us, advance with us, excel, partner with us. And we do this through what I call the crawl, walk, run, sprint mentality. To this end, we typically take on the first project, have your team watch, you do the second one, we watch, you do the third one, call us if there are any questions. And then in addition to that, we are on demand for your peak needs, your new projects, deadlines that you have, taking on projects you're not wholly comfortable with yet. And then, as I mentioned previously, our bench of on-demand PhDs and our ability to truly partner with you to be your R&D team and conduct this as a service. As we conclude, I'd like to wish everyone best wishes and successes as you move toward accelerating the use of simulation in your processes and all the rewards that go with that. If there's any area that you'd like to talk about in more detail, please simply reach out. You have my contact information in regards to email, cell, LinkedIn, and my team and I are very happy to assist. If you'd like to have more formal introductions or schedule physical meetings, certainly available for that as well. And if we're in agreement, we can then discuss things such as process assessments or budgetary or formal solution proposals, and even evolve to full strategic partnerships where appropriate. Again, thank you everyone, very much appreciated, and look forward to when our paths are able to cross in this very small world that we live in. Thanks again.